Prime, a sports drink empire that has exploded in popularity this year, doing nearly $200 million in revenue, being resold on eBay for thousands of dollars and always being out of stock. But how does a drinks company go from not even existing a few months ago to suddenly being the 6th largest sports drink in the United States? Do KSI and Logan Paul even own and control it? And if they don't, then who is the CEO and why have we never seen his face? The founders of Prime, KSI and Logan weren't exactly friends before going into business together and were widely known rivals, so much so that they had 2 fights, one in 2018 that ended in a draw and another in 2019 with KSI winning by split decision. Now, a few years later, they've decided to turn Prime into a joint venture, pooling their influence together and turning it into a worldwide success. The product itself has a number of flavors: ice pop, blue raspberry, and tropical punch, with an emphasis on low calories and sugar content, but the real formula behind its success is its essentially free marketing. The influence that both these YouTubers have is enough to sell millions of these drinks with a single TikTok. Combine this with the connections KSI and Logan have developed through Impulsive and the Sidemen, and their reach extends far beyond their own personal brands. But even then, part of the advertising of Prime involved sponsoring a NASCAR team with a blue raspberry car stamped with their brand being driven in a tournament, helping them to reach a more conventional audience. Pair this with TikTok influencers promoting the brand and signing off on the taste, its success was almost guaranteed. With Prime all over TikTok, it's clear the target audience is primarily Gen Z, many of whom will buy anything their favorite influencers promote and sell, especially when it's the drink that everyone wants but can't get. Perhaps not meeting demand was a way of artificially increasing demand even further, a business model that's been getting more prevalent with certain watches, cars, and handbags becoming infamous for their scarcity. The more demand there is for a product, the harder it is to get, and thus the more the people want it. Fantasizing about that new thing we're planning to buy spikes dopamine levels in the brain. Once we get what we're after, that euphoria quickly fades. Maybe that's why Prime is always out of stock. As soon as Prime hit the market and was available for sale, it sold out within 4 hours of it being launched on the 4th of January 2022. When it was released into retail stores across the US, it sold out again with queues early in the morning and customers rabbing to grab several bottles of the drink, clearing the aisle instantly. This same frenzy took place in the UK and Australia, with parents queuing outside stores at 5 AM when hearing about Prime being restocked overnight. The demand is so high, there is now a black market, with Asda employees reselling the drinks to other convenience stores and resellers on eBay. All of this has now left Prime hard to come by, with many resorting to buy it at inflated prices both on eBay for upwards of $3,000 and corner shops like this one.
Everybody, this girl has come all the way from Castleford for 6 bottles of Prime. That is £145. What's your name, love?
Wakey Wines is one of many convenience stores selling Prime for more than 10 times the retail price, seen selling 6 bottles for £145. This has resorted to people being frustrated and KSI to respond to those reselling it for ridiculous amounts.
No, do not pay that much for Prime. Look, I know people want Prime, okay? Just wait.
Although the drink has only been officially released in the US, UK, and Australia, it's being brought and sold across the globe through the black market. The drink has also been resold in schools by students, with one high school banning the self-proclaimed healthy hydration drink. This again prompted KSI to respond in his usual fashion.
Everyone's trying to get Prime. You gotta wake up 6 AM to get it from Asda so you can be the one to sell it for 10 quid.
With great success though comes great controversy, especially if a recurring element of branding is how much healthier it is relative to the competition. Logan Paul has openly criticized other sports drinks for their sugar content, whilst showing his own drink to be low in sugar and calories.
Alright, we're going bottle for bottle. Blue Prime versus Blue Gatorade.
But what about Prime's efficacy as a sports drink? This has been questioned by numerous people online, most notably Derek from More Plates, More Dates and James from Shredded Sports Science.
Gatorade is not a great formula, so I'm not really going to go to bat for it and say it's way better than Prime, because there are different circumstances in which you would want one or the other, to be frank. Like if you want a drink you can just sip throughout the day and is not actually performance-based and actually designed for athletes, in my opinion, go with Prime. Is Gatorade the most ideal formula for athletes though? No, but it's not just a fucking potassium-ridden, artificially sweetened, sugar-tasting drink. Not sugar-filled drink, but sugary tasting drink that just tastes good, and that's it. Which more or less is what Prime is. It is not actually a well-crafted formula, in my opinion, for actual athletics.
Like Derek says, it's clear that there are different benefits to different drinks formulas. More sodium evidently making it taste saltier, but more sugar helps with the absorption of electrolytes. Different products have different target markets with different needs, so is it fair to compare the sugar content when one drink targets 13-year-olds and the other performance-seeking individuals?
We're surprised that a company as well funded as Prime chose cheap first-generation sweeteners rather than compounds like stevia, monk fruit extract or erythritol, which seem to be healthier based on early research. That being said, we would still recommend filtered water instead of Prime. We find it strange that Prime is marketed as a sports nutrition drink when it doesn't even contain adequate levels of basic electrolytes like sodium or calcium. For most people, even most athletes, drinking water for hydration will be optimal. So a quick thank you to this website for being one of the only ones out there that is actually telling the truth.
What James has highlighted isn't exactly the best news for a company whose brand is founded on being a better energy performance drink. Viewers commented on how getting your nutritional and fitness advice from Logan Paul is like getting your financial and crypto advice from Logan Paul, referring to the many alleged crypto scams he's promoted. There were, of course, a large number of viewers who said they do not buy Prime for the hydration or sports benefits, rather it was just something they liked the taste of. Prime isn't necessarily the best sports drink on the market, but it does seem to be a healthier alternative to the other heavily marketed drinks that teenagers are chugging daily. Only time will tell whether or not the controversy around Prime's benefits will affect the brand, but if you can scam your viewers through crypto without backlash, then I think Prime will be fine. But this channel centers around businesses and entrepreneurs, which is why we need to know who owns and controls Prime. Rumors have been circulating for some time now regarding the true ownership of Prime, but even these accusations miss the bigger picture. Ownership is one thing, but control is another. On the surface, Logan Paul and KSI are business partners, entrepreneurs, founders, and owners of Prime, but to many, none of that really seemed to add up. From a business perspective, creating and selling an energy drink is far more difficult than merely designing the wrapper and creating the formula. It requires intimate knowledge of manufacturing both the product and its packaging. It demands intense logistical systems capable of moving millions of individual products across multiple different countries. It needs an in-depth management structure with hundreds of employees and relationships that take years to develop. Without detracting from KSI and Logan, these are things that neither of them have any experience with whatsoever. Much like Kylie Jenner and her makeup brands, there are shadowy figures behind the scenes growing, developing, and running the business as the faces, the names go around and deal with the marketing. This is something that has been suspected for a long time, and this video isn't the first to present that idea. The ownership is one thing and control is another, yet KSI and Logan appear to hold neither.
There are some parts that are correct, but then there are some parts that are just not. The flavoring with the different flavors, with the new flavors that are going to be coming out. So yes, we definitely own a percentage of Prime.
Unfortunately though, despite KSI's mockery of the suggestion, there is credibility behind these ideas of secret owners and unknown interests. Prime is actually owned by two people whose names we know but whose faces remain hidden. Max Clemens and Trey Steiger own and run Congo Brands, which is the driving force behind Prime. They've worked in the beverage industry for years and have even collaborated with other creators and influencers to help them sell their drinks as well. Does 3D energy drinks look at all familiar to you? What about now? Well, 3D Energy is also made by Congo Brands and is also, like Prime, controlled by Max Clemens and Trey Steiger, except instead of KSI and Logan Paul being the face of the brand, it's this influencer Christian Guzman. And there's Alani Nu, another sports drink that popped up in 2018, this time supposedly owned by Katie Hearn, but again, behind the scenes are Congo Brands, Trey Steiger, and Max Clemens. The question has to be asked, just how much control, ownership, and influence over Prime do Logan Paul and KSI really have? Is it even possible that they have any influence over Prime when it seems Congo Brands pick up random influencers, create a drink on their behalf, and then help them to market it? Well, unfortunately, for those who don't want you to see this video, private companies in the UK have to register themselves with our government, and certain documents are made public for all to see. That's how I came across Prime Hydration UK Limited, a company in the UK that has exactly the kind of name we're looking for, and if we take a look at the named officers, we see those two mysterious people again, Trey Steiger and Max Clemens, but no Logan Paul or KSI. Under the persons of significant control, no one is named, which is odd to say the least, as a person of significant control is defined as someone who owns or controls 25% or more of the company, or has the ability to appoint or remove officers from their posts. If KSI and Logan Paul have a significant position of authority in the company, or any serious influence over its direction, they would have a legal obligation to be listed here. But weirdly enough, the situation just continues to get weirder. Whilst I was writing this video on the 17th of November, a new company was registered in the UK, this time called Congo Brands Management Services UK Limited. Once again, we see those two same names pop up, Max Clemens and Trey Steiger. Again, Logan and KSI are nowhere to be seen, begging the question, do they actually own or control Prime, and if they do, why are they not listed as is legally required? Unfortunately, I can't tell you what's really going on here because I just don't know. Private companies are notoriously difficult to look into, and Prime is no different. Perhaps this is just an honest mistake, an employee who forgot to register KSI and Logan as owners 11 months ago and never got round to fixing their mistake. Perhaps KSI and Logan really don't own Prime as they so often claim to, or perhaps there is something even more opaque at play, shell companies and offshore tax havens disguising true ownership controls to keep the wallets of KSI and Logan nice and full. While the ownership of Prime and its nutritional benefit may be up for debate, no one can deny the value that two stars like Logan Paul and KSI bring to the company, and it follows a pattern that has been exploding over recent years. It's been dubbed the creatorpreneur niche, and it consists of influencers and celebrities venturing out into the world of business and leveraging their status to market their brands on the cheap. The results can be nothing short of incredible, and Prime isn't even the main example, with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson creating a tequila brand of which he owns 30%, and by 2021 it was valued at a staggering $3.5 billion, putting his personal stake at just over $1 billion. Kylie Jenner founded Kylie Cosmetics, of which she owns 49%, and by 2019 it was valued at $900 million, putting her stake just shy of $500 million. Now, this idea of using a public figure to build a business has always existed. We saw it with Shaq 20 years ago in his brand of sneakers, and George Foreman with his grill. But in recent years, influencers have been soaring in popularity, and they've started to dominate this niche, capitalizing on their fame and building a business that can stand the test of time. KSI and Logan Paul are just some of the most recent entrants to the market, but they will not be the last.